Good day, everyone. We are the Group 1 and our video presentation is all about how does the moon form and explain the giant impact hypothesis. Next slide. So these are the reporters of Group 1. I am Alexandra Abbas, first reporter. At bago natin sagutin ang tanong na paano nabuo ang buwan, let's have a short introduction first about the moon. Next slide po. So yung buwan ay isang natural na satellite at ang nag-iisang satellite na pagmamayari ng mundo. Siyempre, yung buwan isa siyang mabatong celestial body at maraming mga teorya para ipaliwanag kung paano ito nabuo. Pero yung pinakatinanggap na pinagmulan nito ay nangyari or naganap na mga 4 or 5 years na yung nakalipas. So the average composition of the moon's surface by weight is roughly 43% oxygen, 20% silicon, 19% magnesium, 10% iron, 3% calcium, 3% aluminum, 0.42 chromium, 0.18% titanium, and 0.12 manganese. So in 1609 or 1610, using this early version of the telescope, si Galileo ang naging unang tao na nagtala ng mga observation sa ating kalangitan with the help of a telescope. He soon made his first astronomical discovery. At the time, most scientists believed that the moon was a smooth sphere, but Galileo discovered that the moon has mountains, pits, and other features just like the Earth. Thank you.
Good day everyone, I'm like Alevio and yun, mag-a-add lang po ako ng konting information and facts about the moon since na-explain na ito kanina ng previous reporter. Okay, moon is the brightest and largest object in our night sky. It also makes Earth more livable by moderating Earth's wobble on its axis, leading to a relatively stable climate. And nagkakos din siya ng tides, creating a rhythm that has guided humans for thousands of years. And nabanggit na rin kanina na yung moon is the only natural satellite of the Earth and it is the fifth largest of all 200 plus moons orbiting the planets in our solar system. Moreover, moon has a solid rocky surface cratered and pitted from impacts by asteroids, meteorites, and comets. And aside from that, yung moon is not breathable. In fact, meron lang siyang very thin atmosphere called exosphere. And moon is also rainless. Wala rin siyang liquid water, so it cannot support life. And that's it po. Thank you so much.
My name is Janeline Alvarido, and I am here to discuss the phases of the moon. First, we have the new moon. The new moon, moonrise was around sunrise, and its moonset was around sunset. The position at the space is the moon is between of sun and earth. Nasa pagitan siya ng sun and earth. So, only the dark unlit side of the moon is facing towards us. Then the next is the waxing crescent moon. Waxing crescent, its moonrise was in the morning and moonset was in the afternoon. Its orientation was the right half is lit in the northern hemisphere and the left half is lit in the southern hemisphere. Ang position nito sa space kapag gumalaw na siya from new moon to first quarter moon. The crescent phase can be a good time to see Earth shines. When the sunlight reflects from Earth gives the dark areas of a moon faint glow. Then we have the third. Next is the first quarter. Okay, in the first quarter moon, we also known as half moon. Its moonrise was around midday, and moonset was around midnight. Its orientation was the right half is lit in the northern hemisphere, and the left half is lit in the southern hemisphere. The position of it in the space was the moon has gone 1/4 of the way around the Earth. The look for the first quarter moon in the blue afternoon sky. Next slide, please. Okay, next we have the waxing gibbous moon. Its moonrise was in the afternoon, and moonset is early morning. Its orientation was right half is lit in the northern hemisphere, and left half is lit in the southern hemisphere. Yung position nito sa space kapag gumalaw na siya from first quarter to full moon. Kumbaga, from first quarter, papunta na siya ng full moon. Yun yung tinatawag na waxing gibbous moon. A couple of days into waxing gibbous moon phase, you can see the golden handle. Okay, we have the full moon. Ayan na, yung full moon na. Its moonrise was around sunset, and like what I say, moonset was around sunrise. Ang position natin sa space is kapag nag-align yung sun, earth, and moon. Doon natin nakikita yung full moon. Kumbaga, nakatapat siya sa araw, kaya nakikita natin yung pinaka-brighter side niya. Then, the last have the waning gibbous moon. Its moonrise was on the evening, and moonset is in the morning. The waning gibbous moon orientation was the left half is lit in the northern hemisphere, and the right half is lit in the southern hemisphere. Ang position nito sa space kapag gumalaw siya from full moon into third quarter moon. Third quarter moon niya. The moon can still look quite full for a few days, and after a full moon is in the waning gibbous moon phase na. Next. Then we have the last quarter moon. And wag po kayo malilito sa last quarter and first quarter. Yung first quarter po siya, nag-i-start po siya one week after the new moon. And the last quarter was on the 23rd week after new moon. So its moonrise, like what I say, it is midnight, and moonset is midday. Its orientation was the half is lit in the northern hemisphere, and the right half is lit in the southern hemisphere. Its position in space was the moon has gone 3/4 of the way on its orbit around the Earth, like what I said earlier. The third quarter moon begins the last quarter lunar cycle. Then the last we have the waning crescent moon. So the waning crescent moon moonrise was in early morning, and the moonset was afternoon. So the orientation of waning crescent moon was the left half is lit in northern hemisphere, and the right half is lit in the southern hemisphere. The position of it in the space was when it's moving from third quarter into new moon. From third quarter, bumabalik na siya into new moon. The crescent phase can be good time to see earth shines also. When sunlight also reflected from earth gives the dark areas of the moon faint glow. That's all. Next reporter, please.
Good day, I'm Kate Sarin Aquino. So I will discuss Apollo Rocks reveal the moon's past. Since ang mga scientists, particular yung mga astronomers are working together, so ang primary goal ng Apollo program was to distinguish such theories on how moon formed or kung paano nabuo ang buwan. So dahil sa mga remnants or mga lunar samples or data, it helps the researchers to seek or to build new clues and contrasts for these three models. Next reporter po. Thank you.
The four theories about how the moon formed. Hello, next slide. Hello, I'm Giancarlo Aipa, and I'm going to discuss the fission theory. So just a little background about George Darwin. He is a mathematician and astronomer. He is the second son of Charles Darwin, who is also very famous naturalist at that time. So he proposed this theory in 1879, but unfortunately, he did not receive much attention from this theory because most of the people at that time were not particularly interested in moon's origin. So ano nga ba yung fission theory? So sinasabi sa theory na to na yung moon daw is nag-originate siya from Earth or nanggaling daw siya sa Earth. So he believed that in early years, the Earth is rotating rapidly to extent that there were some portions of the Earth that separate from the Earth itself, and it became the moon. So ayun yung paniniwala ni George Darwin na dahil sa sobrang bilis ng pag-ikot ng Earth, humiwala yung ibang portions at yun yung naging dahilan para mabuo yung Earth. So yung fission theory pala, kaya siya tinawag na fission theory because of its movement. So pag sinabing fission, it is a separating motions among particles. While on the other hand naman, pag sinabing fusion, ito naman yung kabaliktaran. It's a joining or combining movement among the particles. So yun yung differences. He also justified that Pacific Ocean is the site where the moon came from. And familiar naman tayo na Pacific Ocean is consists of basins and other structures na maaring pagalingan ng moon. And it shows nga in some research nga na there are some resemblance between the Earth mantle and the moon composition substance like rock and water. Kaya nagkaroon siya ng conclusion na baka nga nanggaling yung moon sa Earth. Not until nagkaroon na nga ng discoveries yung mga scientists and astronomers late 1990s na kung saan may mga astronomers na nakadiscover ng moon. And nakakuha na sila ng mga data and solid evidences na like rocks na magpapatunay na maaari nilang magamit to confirm if this particular theory nga is really accurate. But unfortunately nga, it shows na in some research na hindi talaga similar yung component na meron yung Earth and Moon. And also lumalabas din sa study na bago pa nagkaroon ng Pacific Ocean is meron ng Moon. So imposible yung claim na nanggaling talaga yung Moon sa Pacific Ocean. Another problem found in this theory is that there's no fossil evidences to prove that rapid rotation really happened. So wala talagang concrete evidences na nagpapatunay na umikot talaga ng ganun kabilis yung Earth and nag-cause siya para makabuo ng moon. So kaya naman yung theory na to is hindi na siya acceptable today and it was completely abandoned by most scientists and researchers. Next reporter, please.
So, good day po. I'm Ernel Angeles Briones and I'm going to discuss capture theory. So, here in capture theory po, ipapaliwanag ko po dito yung kung paano po napunta yung moon around Terra, or when we say Terra po, around the Earth. So, before I proceed po, gusto ko po muna uling magbigay ng another information about sa moon po, though nabigay na po ng mga unang reporter po yung mga information sa kanya. So sinasabi po na yung moon daw po is a wandering body or an asteroids na nabuo somewhere in a galaxy or in outer space or out of our solar system. That's why meron tayong moon. So here in capture theory, so yung tinutukoy ko kanina na kung paano nga nakapasok or kung paano napunta yung moon around the Earth is because sa bolide impact. When we see bolide impact, ito yung explosion. So ito yung explosion in outer space. So since ka nagkaroon ng so sinasabi din nila noon na yung moon daw po is satellite daw po sa Venus, and then nung nagkaroon daw po ng bolide impact or ng explosion, enough na po siya para mapatalsik or mapapunta po yung moon sa gravity ng Earth. So since nga po yung gravity ng Earth is humahatak po yung gravity ng Earth, then nakuha po or nahatak po ng gravity ng Earth yung moon. That's why tinawag po siyang capture theory. That's why po nakikita po natin yung moon using our naked eye po. Yun po. Next reporter po, please.
Good day, everyone. I'm Neomeline Baltasar, and I will discuss co-creation theory. So, sinasabi dito na ang Earth at Moon ay nabuo ng sabay habang umiikot sa sinasabing black hole. So, ang theory na ito ay hindi kayang ipaliwanag kung bakit umiikot ang Moon sa Earth. At hindi din ma-explain dito kung ano nga ba ang pagkakaiba ng bigat ng Moon at ng Earth. So, sinasabi ng theory na ito na kung saan ba talaga galing ang moon. And sinasabi nga dito na nanggaling ang moon sa primitive solar nebula na halos kapareho ng oras at halos kalapit lang din nito kung saan din nabuo ang Earth. Next po.
Good day, everyone. My name is Rainer, and today I'm going to discuss about the giant impact hypothesis. So there's a theory during early solar system. There's a hypothesis Asian planet like called Theia. So it struck the Earth and its particles or debris scattered around or circling in the Earth. Years passed by, this debris coalesced or combined to each other that form a certain mass, which is called now moon. So moon was created according to giant impact hypothesis.
Some evidence sa giant impact ay yung rocks collected during the Apollo moon landings. So here, sinasabi na yung oxygen isotope ratios ay identical sa meron sa Earth. So it implies a common origin. So habang ang Earth and the protolither disk were molten and vaporized, itong dalawa na ito were connected by a common silicate vapor atmosphere. So the Earth and Moon system ay naging homogenized by convective steering while the system existed in the form of continuous fluid. Such an equilibration between sa impact Earth and the protolunar disk, ito yung pangyayari na nag-explain na yung isotopic similarities of the Apollo rocks with rocks from the Earth's interior. And then, after nun, the scientists during 2014 ay na-discovered na yung Apollo samples ay may kaunting difference sa rocks dito sa Earth. And itong findings na ito ay nagkaroon ng implications sa formation ng moon. And besides doon, and it is thought that the Earth's iron core evolved through differentiation. So dito, leaving lighter elements in the mantle. So this is why the moon's properties and composition are similar to those of the Earth's mantle. And yung the colliding object's heavy iron core would have remained sa Earth and eventually fuse with the Earth's core, while yung mga lightweight substance ng mantle and yung Earth's mantle is thrown into space. And so, throughout this heavy collision, almost all of Earth and Theia started to melt and nag-transform sila as one body. Tapos, the debris from this impact gathered in an orbit around the Earth to form the moon. And nag-provide din siya ng ideal conditions for the formation ng body with the moon's unusual chemical composition. So, yung vapor spilled from the point of contact between the proto-Earth and the affecting smaller protoplanet would be primarily material from the two particles mantles, at yung metals from the core would not be included. And sa high-speed cloud of rock vapor, condensing space would include high-resistance elements, samantala naman sa high-volatility elements would be slow to condense and mag-worn down.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Trisha May Dayadaya, and we will now proceed to the importance of the moon to the Earth. Have you ever wondered what would happen if there was no moon in the sky at night? Aside from the obvious fact that the night would be much darker, it turns out that Earth would be a lot different or completely different without a natural satellite called moon. And here is why. So we have listed here 5 importance of the moon to Earth. Yung atmosphere, guys, this is the outer gas layer of the Earth that holds the oxygen that we breathe. So, in its early days kasi, yung solar winds din yung nire-release ng upper atmosphere ng ating sun, which is called corona. So, pwede siya magpunta sa different directions. And kapag walang protection ng isang planeta, it could literally wreck a planet. So, luckily, because of the moon was closer to Earth back then, its magnetic field served as a shield that protects the atmosphere against strong solar winds. Second point, so yung gravity or yung gravitational pull ng moon and sun yung two forces, kapag nag-merge sila or kapag nagsama, they can actually deform the entire planet. Kaya may nararanasan tayong tides sa oceans today. And kiniklaim ng mga experts or ng mga scientists na ang moon daw ay origin of life on Earth. And here is why. Meron tayo ditong two claims. First claim is that the tides have activated the Earth's plate tectonics or yung tectonic plates ng Earth. And due to this seismic activity, na-allow na mag-cool down yung surface ng Earth. So instead of having hot temperature, naging habitable siya kasi inalaw nung seismic activity na mag-cool down yung temperature sa Earth surface. Second claim naman, dahil pa din to sa gravitational pull ng moon and sun, naging yung tides, di ba? Merong tide dahil sa gravitational pull, inanod or na-drag yung mga essential minerals and chemicals into the oceans, kaya na-propose yung primordial soup. Primordial soup was proposed by Alexander Oparin in 1924. At ano-ano ba yung mga essential minerals and chemicals na yon? Nandun yung methane, ammonia, hydrogen, tsaka carbon dioxide. So around 3.7 to 4.0 billion years ago, pinaniniwala ng mga expert na ang moon ang naging key para mas makasurvive yung mga early life forms. It is just still a theory up until today, pero kung mapapatunayan, masasabi natin na napakalaki ng natulong ng moon sa lahat ng life forms sa Earth. Third point, so bago malaman ng mga scientists na yung moon ay nabuo because of the collision ng dust and rocks. Alam ko nabanggit ito ng mga previous reporter kanina. Ang akala nila, nakaka-rotate yung Earth on its own axis for about 6 to 8 hours. Pero because of the gravity of the moon, napabagal niya yung movement. Kaya meron tayong 24 hours in a day. So isipin nyo guys, kung meron lang tayong 8 hours a day, mahihirapan tayong mag-adjust kasi napaka-ikli. Di ba yung 24 hours nga, ang ikli-ikli na niya, what more kung 8 hours lang meron tayo in a day. So if we only do have 8 hours a day, it would be hard for us to adopt. Lalo-lalo na yung mga animal species, mahihirapan sila to adapt faster sa changing temperature and probably baka mapilitan na lang sila mag-evolve differently. Fourth point is, because of the moon, we are experiencing a stable climate. So dahil ulit sa gravity ng moon, na-keep niya yung Earth's tilt into a more stable point or position. So kung hindi kasi makikip yung Earth into a stable position, habang nag-rotate siya, may movement na magaganap downward and upward. At kapag nangyari yun, mas mapapabilis yung paggalaw ng clouds and ng winds, kaya nagkakaroon ng aggressive weather conditions or harsher environment. So dahil sa napanatili nga ng gravity ng moon, yung Earth sa stable point, nakakaranas tayo ng stable climate. And about naman dun sa 4 seasons na nararanasan sa ibang panig ng mundo, this is due to the changes in Earth's rotation to its axis. So this is all because to the moon. And last point, so launching things into space from moon is way easier as its gravity is only 17% of Earth's gravity. Ang dami din kasing materials na composed ang moon, and one of it was ice, 'di ba? Composed, may ice sa moon, and kapag natunaw yung ice, kapag nag-meltdown, they can turn it into fuel. Kapag naging tubig na yung ice, pwede na lang gamitin as fuel. Kung mag-ship pa kasi sila ng fuel from Earth, mas mahal. So dahil sa ice na-eliminate niya yung pag-ship ng fuel from Earth, which is very expensive. And aside from that, kaya din siya best way for space exploration kasi yung moon's atmosphere is thin, and this is a great place to look at the stars kasi manipis lang yung atmosphere ng Earth ng moon. Mas manipis siya compare sa Earth. And kasi kapag sa Earth din, 'di ba yung atmosphere ng Earth, pag tumama dun yung light, nagbe-bend, kaya may tinatawag tayong refraction. Kaya parang naiiba na yung data kung paano natin sila pine-perceive kasi due to bending of light. Pero sa moon, mas na napag-aralan na it is a great place to look at the stars. And that's it, guys. I guess we have reached the end of our report. Thank you for your participation and have a nice day.